Good evening and good afternoon, everyone, from Sydney, Australia, for our third round of 16 matchup in the 2023 Women's World Cup. Today, it's one of the three matchups in this round of 16 where it's the colonizers against the colonized. In other words, Netherlands against South Africa. Netherlands coming in as the 2019 runner ups in this tournament. South Africa surprising everybody to get the second seed in Group G. Yeah, the coin toss there between the two sides. Of course, Netherlands led by their captain Sharita Spitza, and on the other side will be South Africa's captain, who I believe, again, I could stand corrected, but I believe it might be Kugatlana. So indeed, Tembi Kugatlana. That being said, let's take a look at the starting lineups, and we'll start off with the Dutch first, going in a 3-1-4-2, as they did in their 7-0 victory against Vietnam. Daphne van Domselaar in goal, Dominique Janssen, Stephanie van der Gracht, and Sharita Spitza across the back. Jackie Grunen will be your holding midfielder, Esme Brooks, Danielle van der Donk, Jill Roord, and Victoria Pelova in the attacking midfield. Lika Martens and Lynette Berenstein will be up top. The only change is Berenstein, who suffered an ankle injury against Portugal and had to be out for 2 games, back in the lineup. Let's take a look at South Africa, head coached by Desiree Ellis. Kaylin Swartz will be in goal. They line up in a 4-2-3-1 in terms of their field players. Karubo Dlamini in left back. In center backs will be Noko Matlu and Bambanani Mabane. And then out on the right will be Lebo Hong Ramalepe. Holding midfielders will be Bongeka Gamede and Hilda Magaya. Up top, or rather in the midfield, attacking midfielder, will be Jermaine Seoposenwe, Linda Motohalo, and Kolosa Biana. Tembi Kagatlana will be up top. Again, a 4-2-3-1 for South Africa. Not too many. I could check compared to their result against Italy if there was anybody who was playing today who was not there. I believe it might have been, or Magai was playing on the right. She's going to be playing holding midfielder today. Biana has checked in as Netherlands lines up. Sold out stadium tonight at Sydney Football Stadium, the smaller one of the two in the largest city in Australia. We are underway from Sydney, Netherlands against South Africa. I'll have to redo the kickoff. Yoshida Yamashita blows the whistle. Eventually she will. Now she blows the whistle, and now we're underway. So Netherlands, the orange Leeuwinnen in the all-orange kits going from left to right. South Africa, Banyana Banyana in the all-black kits going from right to left. So again, a few changes. I think the biggest one being that you're going to have Biana on the right. And Mudali, who is playing the holding midfielder role, is out. She will be on the bench for this one. That is the only change for the South African side. So both teams with only one change from their last group stage match. Boy, was that a dandy, though, I'll tell you that. South Africa beat Italy in an absolute thriller 3-2, as this one's pipped down the left-hand side a little too far for running Jermaine Seoposenwe. And will be out for a throw-in. But as I was saying, South Africa beat Italy 3-2 in their final group stage match. A thriller going back and forth where the Italians and Caruso drew first blood. South Africa got the ball back and got a goal, actually, from an own goal that was very similar to Laia Codina's one between Switzerland and Spain. A ball just played back. The goalkeeper wasn't at the right spot. Ball goes in the back of the net. It's 1-1. And then after that, Italy ended up taking, or rather, it was South Africa to retake the lead, or to take the lead, that is, 2-1. Italy drew it up. Caruso with another goal. And then South Africa, it was Tembi Kagatlana, the Racing Louisville player, playing in NWSL in the United States, scoring the stoppage time winner to send South Africa, a team that has been around for 30 years, to the knockout stage. And one of the players, or rather one of the people who know the squad very well, their head coach, Desiree Ellis. She was part of the original Banyana Banyana squad back in 1993 and was actually in the lineup when South Africa beat Swaziland 14-0 in the program's first ever game. Again, what a moment it would be for them if they were to get what would be a monumental upset as Ramalepe picks the ball off So long ball sent there by Van der Gracht. Looking on the left there, I believe for Lika Martens. Ball back towards Netherlands goal now. Van der Gracht. Now to Jackie Groenen. And third minute, not too many chances, no shots from either side. Coming off what was a pretty interesting, in my opinion, a very interesting matchup earlier in the day. If you were on the East Coast, earlier, or rather yesterday, if you're on the West Coast, you had Switzerland and Spain facing off. Spain winning 5-1, and then in the second match it was Japan facing Norway, and Japan winning 3-1. Back to the back line. It's Van der Gracht again. Lifted over to the left, able to find Brooks. Brooks gives it back towards Janssen. Janssen with some hurdling space in front, out towards Grunen. Once again at midfield, both in longitude and latitude in terms of the pitch. Back with Spitze on the back line. Towards midfield. Netherlands starting to control at least some part of the possession here. Scoreless. Janssen hurdles forward, no pressure now, and now she's caught up in the transfer by Biana. With that, here comes South Africa the other way. Biana still going for the ball. That's going to be deflected off. Still not out of play. Janssen pushing down. I believe it was actually number 12 for South Africa, Seopo Senwe. So Seopo, again, if you've tuned into this, you know I have my beef with ESPN. But Seopo Senwe will be on the right. We'll see who's on the left. Might be Magaya, might be someone else. Clipped out. On the middle, Carbo Dlamini. Into the back line again. Matlu with the loft forward, trying to find Magaya on the left. A little too far. And with that, it's a goal kick for Van Domselaar and the Netherlands. As I mentioned, a interesting game down the stretch. Europe versus Africa, as I mentioned. And kind of an underdog story. Again, when we saw South Africa, they were actually up against Sweden. Got the opener before the Swedes responded with 2 late goals in the second half to take all 3 points. It was almost the idea that Sweden is not doing their best, but hey, South Africa turned out to be the only team to get a goal against Sweden. Ball goes out there. That's going to be a throw-in for the Dutch. So once again, in the Netherlands defensive third, as Janssen will boot this forward. Martens to chest it down. Back with Grunen. And she will further play it back towards Van der Gracht. Out on the wing as Van der Gracht finds it out towards Victoria Pelova. Good passing so far by the Dutch, but the South Africans have remained stagnant when it comes to their defense overall. Again, when you look at how the South Africans tend to play their ball, they're a very counterattack type team. Only 38% possession against Italy, but 12 shots, 5 of them on goal in that match. And hey, 3 of them ended, well, 2 of them ended up going in, of course. One of them was an own goal from Italy. Long ball sent forward. Seopo Senwe trying to get on the end of it. She does. Seopo Senwe plays it in. A chance here, a shot, and it's saved there by Van Domselaar. There was a good run there by Tembi Kagatlana, but she just couldn't get the power to redirect it. And there's your first save of the game here as we're 6 minutes into this one. With Grunen back with Janssen. But it's the South African side that has surprised a lot of people. Save for their loss to Sweden. They've gone unbeaten at this Women's World Cup, which is quite exceptional. A team that's, as I mentioned before, 38% against Italy, 39% against Argentina. I expect the same as Van Domselaar. Plays it out towards Spitze. Katlana continues to pressure, but she didn't get the ball on that instance. Now a chance with the Dutch to go. Dutch going out on the right. Pelova now towards the edge of the box. She's going to go inside of it. Pelova's cross blocked away there by Mabane, or rather Matlu, and it's a corner kick for the Dutch. So back and forth play. And again, we're used to this South African side used to holding the ball, or rather not holding the ball, but rather getting it on the counterattack, trying to get some of the players winded. And that is the other players, the opponents, winded. But 8th minute of play, still nil-nil, as Martin sends us in outswinger, headed away by the South Africans. As Gruden goes to retreat, will actually be Van de Donk to collect. Out with Spitz on the right. First time cross towards the edge of the box. Pipped up, and now on the left here for Esme Brooks. Brooks right footed cross back post, and it has to be punched over there by Kaylin Swart. It went direct. Might not have been what Brooks intended, but hey, she's had some long distance goals in this Women's World Cup, and she almost got one there. A good pipper of a ball in the 8th minute, and Netherlands almost broke the deadlock there. And just dipping on the ball. And and again, too, even if it was in the area, Berenstein might have gotten a touch to it. And Brooks had a great goal earlier. As this one is a corner swung in. That's cleared off the line. A header is a rebound, and that's in the back of the net. Goal for Netherlands. And once again, it's one of their star players. She scored against the United States. She scored twice against Vietnam, and she does so right there on the rebound. Jill Roord, here in the 9th minute, makes it 1-0 in favor of the Dutch. 4th goal for her in this tournament. That now puts her one behind Miyazawa of Japan. And again, it was a decent clearance there. Decent clearance by Lebohang Ramalepe, but the clearance did not go forward. It essentially almost went from the near post to the far post, and Roord, who was right there, all she had to do was nod it in, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Dutch. And Andries Jonker on the side. Ever since their match against the United States, where, granted, they did score first in that one, they've been very adamant about scoring left, right, and center. And I think more importantly than just scoring, getting at it on both sides. As Janssen pips forward, trying to find Martins, unable to get it with her right leg in the air. Seen out on the touchline, throw in for South Africa in the defensive third. But 10th minute, again, a great chance. Great chances nonetheless. Very similar to the Vietnam game where Netherlands announced their presence early and announced their presence often. Meanwhile, Martin's going for the ball. Ramalepe just back keels it off, and that will be seen out there by the South Africans. It was Gamede, the one to see it out. Throw in was taken. Now it's Grunen back with Spitza in the back line. Van de Gracht lofted out towards the wing. One touch back by Ramalepe. Still dancing there against Brooks. Brooks will decide to play it back. And now it's Spitza. Now with Pelova on the right. Crosses into the box have been kind of a staple of Netherlands, as they were able to carve up Vietnam that way. United States only scored 3 against them. Portugal only scored 2. Netherlands said, let's make it a touchdown and score 7. Grunen with the ball midfield, pass to the right for Spitza. And that's the biggest question for the Dutch is now you want to play possessive ball, and more importantly, you want to play in a position where you don't let South Africa counter. As this one's played forward, Kagatlana tried to get on the end of it, goes back towards Van de Gracht, sent out towards Spitza on the right. She pips it up, out on the end line, throw in for the South Africans. 12th minute, Dutch up 1-0, courtesy of a goal by Jill Roord in the 9th minute, her 4th goal of the tournament. I think that already passed Vivian Miedema for most goals by a Dutch in one singular tournament. So props to Roord. Scored against the United States, scored 2 against Vietnam. As this one's played through, can the Dutch be coming for more? Here's Berenstein on the right-hand side. She tries flicking it back, but instead it's just gobbled up there by Dlamini. And a further clear by Katlu. Gamede sent forward, and this could be a chance for the South Africans to counterattack. Ball played through. Kagatlina now in the area. Van de Graaf trying to get it. Kagatlina's shot, and it might have been just pushed over by Van Domslaar. She's trying to argue that there was a deflection. The ref right now is giving goal kick, but right now, Tembi Kagatlina, or Kagatlana, I should say, who had some great chances, scored the game winner against Italy that sent South Africa to the knockouts. What a great chance there. Almost got this team an equalizer. But automatically, you know how South Africa likes to play. They haven't held the ball much, but every time they have, they've been big. Jackie Grunen called for the foul there on Motilhalo. But already, I mean, Switzerland Spain was an interesting start to the match. We had 3 goals in the first 20 minutes. And now one of them was probably an own goal that should not happen, would not happen in most situations, as it's a free kick for South Africa about 30 yards out in the 13th minute. They're down 1-0. An equalizer would be helpful for them. Again, thanks for tuning in. Saturday evening here on the West Coast around 7:15. Actually, at a decent time. Most of these have been in the middle of the night. So a free kick to be taken. Long shot directed, and that's going to go right into the crowd. Biana, the one. And maybe a chance here. Van de Donk trying to cause a counter towards midfield. Ramalepe will shade her out to the right, and it's played back towards the back line. Jensen, Van der Gracht, back with Jensen on the back line. Back with Van der Gracht. And she scored the first goal for the Dutch at this Women's World Cup. 1-0 victory against Portugal. So her goal made all the difference in that one. And they played the United States, the team they lost to in the Women's World Cup final back in 2019. As that's when Chesadama Pelova, Grunen, or rather Ruud, Spitza, attempting to play the long ball forward, looking towards Berenstein. Berenstein giving chase to it, played back by Mbane, towards Swart, the goalkeeper. Not a big clearance there, as I believe Martin's got a touch to it, but couldn't get the best touch. I'm on the right now. And seen out. Attacking third, thrown once again for the Dutch, this time on the left-hand side of the pitch. 15th minute. Still Netherlands up 1-0 on South Africa. Janssen flipped over towards Spitze at midfield. Spitze brought down Van de Donk. Pelova. Back to Spitze. Send forward now. Towards Jill Roord. Grunen tried to get a touch. He's giving it right back. Here's Biana now trying to break forward. Going forward. She's brought down. No foul call, says Yamashita. Here's Roord the other way. Out towards Van de Donk on the left. Or rather, Pelova on the right. Here's Perova. Dancing around. Pelova now left-footed, trying to find Lika Martins, but it rolls back towards Swart. 16th minute. Still an interesting game, but nonetheless in favor of the Dutch. And again, when you look at a team like South Africa, they haven't been in this situation in this tournament, but when you look at how they want to play on the counter, they want to play with a strong defense and go build out of the back. You have to look at how this team wants to go forward, right? Obviously, they have 75 minutes plus stoppage time to find an equalizer, given that Netherlands does not score. But at the same time, you figure that how much does this counterattack really help them? And that's the biggest thing, I think, between teams that make it far and teams that don't make it far. Nonetheless, long ball sent, trying to find it was Seopo Senwe. Out again. Martins out with Brooks on the right or left. Brooks right-footed cross this time with her actual right, not her other right. A little too far, nonetheless, out on the end line. Goal kick. Nonetheless, 17th minute, and still a lot of action here from Sydney Football Stadium. It's the final match this stadium will host at this 2023 Women's World Cup. Swart booted forward. Dribbling there. Dribbling around. Giving right back towards Van de Donk. Now Brooks. Jensen going forward in the attack. Pass towards Van der Gracht. Good. Van de Donk in some space. Out with Martins. Brooks again. Brooks lofts it up, right-footed. Seopo Senway to head it up. Only as far as Pelova, who's on the right. At the edge of the box, she's going end line. Pelova crossed in. Can't find a wide open Bernstein as it's cleared away. Still in the area. Vanderdonk back to Bernstein. Bernstein leaves it off. The shot by Martens is blocked up in the air. She was calling for it. The South Africans able to read it in time. Jansen now to Vanderdonk, and play will be stopped for an injured South African in the box. And it looks like it is Jermaine Seopo Senway, listed as the left midfielder in this one. Looks like she will be out there. Let's take a look what. So Pelojo's going there. Lamini was the woman she was going up against. But the collision happened in the middle, and I believe it was Seopo Senway just trying to slide through. She looks in pretty visible pain right now, as we are 18 minutes through this one. 1-0 in favor of the Dutch. Jill Roord, the one that started the scoring there in the 9th minute. Again, let's take a look at this. So Vanderdonk got a shot off. Oh, that does not look good. Seopo Senway, it looks like her left ankle, or her foot at least, it clicked. One of the two joints. Again, I'd have to bring in my mom, who's a physical therapist, but either an ankle or a knee, and God forbid, an ACL injury. But it did not look pretty from that angle. Seopo Senway will need some help getting off the pitch. And she's been the one holding majority of the possession for South Africa, 19%. Gamede is next with 13%, and Mbane third with 12%. But she is able to get off. For now, I do not think South Africa will make a substitution. I could be wrong. From the way she's limping, I don't think she should continue the match. That was a pretty interesting foul and interesting call. Not really a foul, but an interesting injury. Hoping she'll be okay in a while. Plays continued here in the 20th. Van de Gracht to Spitza. Spitza, the captain. She's been playing all over throughout her days with the Dutch. Played attacking midfielder. Holding midfielder now is the right center back. Back with Van de Donk. Brooks on the left. Dancing around there. Seen out by Ramalepe. Last touch off the South Africans, so throw in for the Dutch. As I mentioned before, you can make the jokes you want. It's a colonizers versus colonized type matchup. I'd also say the same for England-US, honestly, but as I mentioned, you got colonizers versus colonized. Netherlands versus South Africa. England versus Nigeria will be coming up later in this Women's World Cup. And you also got France versus Morocco. So those are your 3 matchups overall there. Also, interestingly enough, because Nigeria, South Africa, and Morocco, it's the first time we have seen 3 African teams in the knockouts of the Women's World Cup. There were 2 in 2019, Cameroon and Nigeria. Nigeria lost 3-0 to Germany, and then Cameroon lost 3-0 to England. Bernstein? Now with Roord on the right. Roord cut in, now plays it back towards with Schwitzer. Dutch with majority of the possession so far in this one. Very similar to a lot of the Dutch games, very similar to a lot of the South African games. Brooks. And another nice light ball going forward with Jansen. Jansen, Grunen checks in, back with Jansen. Martens. Brooks. Vanderdonk tried to backheel it towards Martens. No good. Gruner with another chance. Martens plays it through, looking towards Bernstein. That's cleared away. Ball still in the area. Vanderdonk goes down edge of the box. No foul called. Brooks unable to win possession back at first. Now she will. Grunen loses it. Back with Magaya and South Africa. Mabane cleared out. Throw in for the Dutch on the left-hand side. So, again, as much as South Africa wants to get on the counterattack, there are a lot of missing pieces and a lot of things that this team is probably wishing that it could be doing better. Seopo Senway, by the way, is down. And once again, she is grabbing at that right foot. The trainer is touching the knee part, so close towards the ACL. And now it looks like Desiree Ellis is calling for her to come back. Or at least she's calling for someone to at least get some tactics. Nonetheless, it will be up to Ellis to see if you can get those tactics against a team like Netherlands, right? It's one thing to do it against a team like Italy, but again, we've seen the the interesting things. I did a TikTok on winners and losers of this Women's World Cup, and Italy was one of them. I mean, they just did not look like the better team in a lot of their matches. Definitely not against Sweden. Even against Argentina, they struggled to be the better team in that matchup. Let's take a look at the corner kick that led to the goal. Sure to spits out the in-swinger. Lika Martins with the initial header. And after it was cleared off the line a little bit by Ramalepe, Roord was able to get the rebound to make it 1-0. That is also now the 26th goal we have seen in this Women's World Cup that has come off a corner kick. So set pieces continue to be a big deal. And it looks like Seo Posenwe will get her marching orders very soon. Not right now, but it looks like it will be the end of her day for her. 22% possession for South Africa, 19% of that. So if you all do a little quick math, about 4% belonging to Seo Posenwe. I believe coming in will be number 6, Noxolo Sesane. Brooks high in the air, back with Martins. On the left, headed out with Brooks again. Chested down, cleared forward. About 24 minutes through this one. Netherlands up 1-0 on South Africa. Jill Roord with the goal in the 9th minute. Grunen at midfield and played back towards Van der Gracht. Out on the right now with Pilova. Dutch looking to make it back to the final after being runner-ups in 2019. Spitz at midfield. And the Dutch have had many opportunities. We haven't seen a South African counterattack in about a good 15 minutes, I'd say. As this pipped up towards Van de Donk on the left-hand side, towards the edge of the box. On the left wing, able to play keep away from Abane. As it's clipped back with Brooks. And now Jansen. Jansen on the left. Lofted out a little too far for Van de Donk. Throwing. So as of right now, Seo Posenwe is still in the match. Again, Ellis was calling for a substitution to possibly be made. And again, not a good one for a South African side that's already down in a side that doesn't hold possession as it is that much in this Women's World Cup. They were underneath 40% in all of their group stage matches, lowest being 31 against Sweden. Meanwhile, a chance here. This one clipped forward, trying to find Kagatlana. Actually, it was trying to find Motohalo instead. Van Domselaar with the save. Again, it was a good barreling run through. It's like the way Banyana plays this game is pretty good. They're able to find command, they're able to find space, and they know when things need to go their way. And they know how to change momentum on a dime. It's just a matter of getting those chances actually off. That's the biggest question. Van der Gracht in the back line, approaching midfield, plays it straight with Van de Donk. Try to go make a pass on the turn, intercepted and cleared forward by Babane. Ball skips all the way back towards Martins on the left. Martins trying to play through towards Berenstein, who's in the box right now, but on the left-hand side, now outside of it. Berenstein, no options, gives it back towards Brooks. Brooks continues on the left. Van de Donk again, try to play through towards Berenstein, no good. Lika Martins now slaloming through, and that's cleared away. Matlu with a chance. Matlu with a chance to clear it, that is. All the way back with Van der Gracht. Lofted out. Not the best touch there by Pilova. Kind of just skipped through her feet. Out for a South African throw. 27th minute, still 1-0 in favor of the Dutch on the South Africans. Out with Jansen on the back line. Again, thanks for tuning in. It's a Saturday evening here, part of a double header for me. This one started off at 7 p.m. here on the West Coast. It will be one of the two I'm doing today. The other one at 2 a.m. That's Sweden against the United States, which I think might be the biggest match of the round of 16. Might be the biggest match of the Women's World Cup, for all you know. Number 3 against number 1 in the world. Interestingly enough, number 2 is out of the Women's World Cup. So it's between the top two teams remaining. Long ball sent forward out towards Martins. On the left, poked out again. Mambane to do the honors. And again, another attacking throw in for the Dutch. This one played through. It's a good chance. A shot saved there by Swart. Rebound can't be found, but what a chance nonetheless. A great turn, too, by Danielle van de Donk. And a great throw as well. A great switch of play by the Dutch, who all of a sudden, it just seemed like it. It was a great turn. Van de Donk found the open space, and it was just a great save to the right of Swart. Want to make a big stop there. Otherwise, it's 2-0 in favor of the Dutch. 29th minute. Once again, another corner kick for the Netherlands. And now Yoshida Yamashita, your referee for today, will call for a stoppage. It will actually be a change coming up for South Africa. Wendy Shongwe on the touchline lining up. This one swung into the box, caught there by Swart. Dangerous chance nonetheless. So for South Africa, we got number 23. That's Wendy Shongwe out of University of Pretoria. If she appears, this would only be her second appearance for her country, Banyana Banyana, South Africa, if you will. But again, 30th minute of play. Netherlands up 1-0 on South Africa. I'm Mihir Sinhasan. Thanks for tuning in on this Saturday evening or Saturday night if you're on the East Coast. You got one on YouTube, one on Instagram. Might do the same for tonight with Sweden US, although that match will be at 5 a.m. in the morning if you're on the East Coast, 2 a.m. on the West Coast. Again, as I mentioned before, I go to ASU, so half of them, at least during the school year, half of my folks are on the East Coast, half of my folks are on the West Coast. And now we'll see a change. Jermaine Steoposenwe heading off, and heading on will be indeed number 23, Wendy Shongwe. Wearing number 23, making her second appearance for the squad, has yet to score a goal. Dribbling ball, Biana headed up, now with Ruud, Van de Donk, Brooks. Jensen plays it towards the back line, and Spitze. That back line has been kind of very dynamic. They shift towards the left side or the right side of the pitch pretty often as Van der Gracht sends it across the pitch towards Pelova. So it kind of gives you the dynamic on how the wingbacks could work for the Dutch. There's Pelova again, trying to spin her way out. Spitze into some space. Out with Jackie Grunen. This was playing back towards the back line. Jensen picks her head up, out towards Brooks. She'll keep it rather mundane for now. Again, first goal was back in the 9th minute. 9th minute of play. All played through. Van de Donk played out. Martins now. Pressured on the ball there. One back there by Gamede. Given right back, almost right back with Berenstein. But nonetheless, South Africa just fighting to get some portion of the ball right now as it's played over towards Shongwe on the left. She picks her head up, and it's sent out here. Magaya on the ground plays it. So it's Motohalo. She lost the ball. She was tripping, but no foul called. Again, a pretty mundane game, save for one goal by Jill Ruud in the 9th. And now the question becomes, can Banyana Banyana, who are the Cinderellas essentially of this tournament, 54th, can they come back? And more importantly, can they hold Netherlands' lead to 1? Here's Van de Donk. Brooks, back with Van de Donk. On the left-hand side, about 35 yards out. Jensen, now with Ruud. Away. Maybe another chance here for South Africa. Gatlana got it all by herself. She's got a 1-on-4. She's still going. Now she is forced out onto the left, and that will be cut away there by Jackie Grunen. Good defense by her. That might have been the most fiery attack we've seen from South Africa today. Dlamini lofted in. Another header, this time by Van der Gracht. And out for a South African throw-in. Kagatlana to take. Again, South Africa, as I mentioned before, and this is kind of the sneakiest thing about it, and maybe why some teams underestimate them, is this team doesn't hold possession for long, but when they do, they really show up. Lamini, left back, left footed cross in, looking in, headed away by Janssen. Van de Donk will collect on the left-hand side and will send it forward all the way back towards Swartz, the South African goalkeeper. Again, ball played, picked off by Janssen. Van de Donk with, again, trying to get on a turn. She had a good turn earlier in the match that really opened up space for her to try to get a goal. Didn't end up happening. Ramalepe, the checking back by Motolhalo. And now clipped again. Gamede, looking for some space. Can't find Biana, or rather Motolhalo on the right. 34th minute, still 1-0 between Netherlands and South Africa. Inside Sydney Football Stadium, they've seen some good results in this one. I believe this is where England played Denmark. I know for sure Colombia played South Korea over there. One of the two matches in this, essentially what is the Netherlands, or rather the New Zealand group. That is all of the teams you see on this side of the bracket playing their matches in New Zealand. That is everything. As Martins will have to turn here. That's cut away by Magaya. Send forward. Maybe a chance here. Kagatlana now on the left. 35th minute. Entering the box. Now dancing around. Cutting inside. Shot saved by Van Domselaar. Trickles out on the end line for a corner kick. But again, Tembi Kagatlana with another chance on the counter. Decided to take it herself too. Start off with the cutaway there by Noko Matlu, the South African captain. Again, Kagatlana wearing the captain's armband today with such a great chance on goal. Parried away, much to the Dutch's delight. So it's a corner kick now. Kolosa Biana to take it. Right-footed, in-swinger into the box, punched away by Van Domselaar. Brooks able to collect on the left, trying to get a counter going. Mabane pushing forward. Actually, it was Gamede, and now will be a free kick. It was actually, I was right the first time. It was Mabane. Desiree Ellis trying to figure out kind of a puzzle look. Now, granted, as I mentioned before, it's different between this being a tie game in South Africa countering and this being a game where you're losing and you have to counter. It's a very different feel to the match. Van der Gracht, pipped forward, trying to find Martins. I think she stayed on side there, up against Ramalepe on the left-hand side. Decides to pass back. Now with Brooks. Brooks with a long-distance shot, and that's easily caught there by Swart. Again, this was a little farther out than her goal against Vietnam, which was from about 25 yards. But again, Kaylin Swart and crew continuing to hold their ground in such a big game for this team. Biggest in their history and the biggest in their 30-year history. Africa Cup of Nations champions trying to live it on for a little while longer. Looks like there was a foul in the build-up. Biana taken down to earn a free kick. Again, 37th, still Dutch up 1-0. Long ball over the head of Magaya. Rather, it was Gamede. So, looking at this formation, you got Gamede in the holding midfielder spot. Magaya also there, although Gamede looks like is playing more of that right-handed spot. Magaya playing a little bit back, but we could see her playing on the right too. So And the same goes for Magai. She actually did play on the right against Italy. Meanwhile, back with Brooks at midfield. Janssen thought about going long, decides to keep it to herself. She will go long, but to the right side of the pitch for Belova. Belova back with Spitzer. Rough passing so far by the Dutch, but it will be settled by Van der Gracht. Kagatlana continues her pressure, as it's now with Janssen. Trying to find a pick off there is Biana. Van de Donk with the header, out with Brooks. Now with Martens. Picks her head up, trying to dribble her way through. She collides, and now a free kick will be given towards the Dutch. Lika Martens with a tough collision there, and Bambanane Mabane getting the most of the trouble there, and now medical treatment will be needed for her. Already, we've seen one substitution for South Africa. Jermaine Seo Bosenwe taken off about 10 minutes ago. She had a rough foot injury. It was a tough collision. Actually, the way things were going, it almost looked like how basketball is. You know, sometimes the defender tries to step in, but they don't have their feet set, and it eventually goes a foul in their favor rather than it being an offensive foul. That's kind of what happened on this play right here. But again, 35th minute. Lika Martins looking concerned for Mabane right now, who is still needing some treatment down there. Mabane, one of the players, one of the 5 players on the squad who plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, which is an organization in South Africa. Again, their team just went professional. They're able to make the CAF, that is the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns. A lot of other players on the squad, including Andele Dlamini and also Karabo Dlamini, who is also on the pitch right now. Tilseto Makubela, that is. Makubela, and then Melinda Kagadiete. But nonetheless, a puzzle look, and things do not look good for Mabane. Gunan's gone over to check on her. Still needing some treatment here in the 40th minute. Looks like the celebrities have come out. Not that I know any of them, but nonetheless. Good afternoon in Sydney, although not for South Africa. It looks like Mabane's day will be done. She'll have to be taken off via stretcher, so presumably we are going to get our second change of the match coming up soon. Again, a lot of options off the bench for South Africa in that way. So you got, let's see, you got Fikili Magama, you got Tiseto Makubela, and it looks like it might be Makubela. She's getting some attention and some notes from the assistant coaches. So it looks like it will be a change between the two Mamelodi Sundown teammates. And Makubela, as I mentioned, has scored 2 goals for the squad and would make her 25th cap today, which would mean going in, or rather after today's match, she would only have one player in the defense that is yet to reach 25 caps, and that being Fikile Magama. Also making her 25th cap today is Karabo Dlamini playing left back. Look at the midfield. Only one to not reach 25 is Kogoale. And then up top, it's Wendy Shongwe, only making her 2nd. Mabane will be carried off via stretcher to the applause that hopefully she will be okay. So with that, she will head off. And now we'll see a change again with Tisetso Makubela. She will head off. That is Mbani will head off. Tiseto Makubela heads on. 42nd minute. That was an interesting change. It was about 2 minutes of time taken off. So we're going to have quite a lot of stoppage time. Nonetheless, a free kick for the Dutch. Dominique Janssen to take this. Kind of on the edge of the attacking third, but 25 yards out. Janssen goes direct and well out of play. And we've seen some long free kicks before. Panama scored one against France early in their match. Right now, the only goal in this one belonging to Gilles Rourde all the way back in the ninth minute. Right now, that still is the decider right now that would send Netherlands to the quarterfinals to play Spain at Eden Park. Boy, Spain played a really great game yesterday against Switzerland and would set up a really interesting matchup against the Dutch. And a dunk with the header up. Martins with the further one. Knocked forward. Katlana giving chase on the left. Still going for the ball. And that's cleared away there by Van der Gracht. Throwing for the South Africans. Banyana trying to get an attack going. They've got two new players in. Again, not too much of the momentum, so it's not like it matters, but that could be an interesting point. Speaking of which, Wendy Strongway, one of the substitutes, crosses it in, headed away by Dominic Janssen. One back by Motolhalo. Ball out on the right again. Out in some space. Sent out by Motolhalo. Motolhalo still dribbling around. Still trying to find somebody to pass it to. Gets it off towards Strongway. Center edge of the box. Motolhalo able to scoop it out towards Lamini. Strongway again, fighting with Spitze. Spitze to win that battle. Strongway able to win it back, though. She'll send this one into the box. Headed down there by Van de Donk. Magaya with a chance. Motohalo dancing around. Motohalo with the shot. And it goes over the bar. Dancing around at the edge of the box there, Linda Motohalo was unable to get too many chances to really trouble Van Domselaar, at least recently. Now, don't get me wrong, the South Africans have done the peril. They've made it interesting for Van Domselaar. 3 shots, 2 of them on target. And this is a team that, again, despite holding only about 38% possession against 39% possession against Italy, had 12 shots, 5 of them on goal. Pip forward, back towards Janssen. 45th minute, about a minute plus stoppage time remaining in this first half. Spitze out with Pelova on the right. Pelova with Dlamini giving pressure. And at this point, too, at South Africa, too, knowing how you play, if you can have recovery, why not throw the kitchen sink in there? Roerd plays it back with Pelova. It's Van de Donk. Van de Donk out with Brooks. Brooks number 22, and out with 14, Grunen. And Jackie Grunen, one known as scoring some big goals. She scored the goal in the semi-final against Sweden in extra time to send the Dutch to the final against the United States back in 2019. Again, a lot of goals in that one. A lot of goals in their last knockout stage match against the United States in the Olympics. Meanwhile, this one's one back ball played through. Is it Kagatlana in the clear? Saved by Van Domselaar. Another chance. Kagatlana with another shot. But this time, Daphne Van Domselaar with the swab. 7 minutes of stoppage time. And oh boy, Daphne Van Domselaar. She's still on the ground holding the ball. But how about that? So much open space. Kagatlana, I believe she was onside there, but in the clear, decides to take it left-footed. And again, just escaped her. I think had she gone with her right, that might have been a goal. Open up the body, send it in towards the back post. Instead, she tried to go more linear with the shot. And again, such a good chance. Best one of the day so far for South Africa to make it 1-1. Van Domselaar will get up. She'll boot it forward. As I mentioned before, to reiterate, there's 7 minutes of stoppage time, so still plenty of chances for both sides to try to get the second goal of this match. One back here. Martin sending this forward, going towards Berenstain. This could be trouble, but Swart will send it back, all the way back towards midfield. Dribbling out, back with Kagatlana. She tries to use her speed again. Almost got to it, but Grunen able to cut away. I believe Grunen got the last touch to it. So it looks like it will be at least a throw-in for South Africans. Banyana. 1:30 through first half stoppage time, about 5:30 to go. A long shot from distance, and that's going to go well wide of goal. Daphne Van Domselaar has made some key saves so far in this one. Despite South Africa only holding about 25% possession, they still looked fervent on the ball. Van Domselaar with the goal kick. Right now, it's been Tembi Kagatlana. 4 shots, 3 of them on goal right now. Headed back, Spitza rattling around. Knocked out. Not the best touch there by Moto. Rather, forget who that might have been. My apologies. It was actually Shongwei. Down the side, Berenstein strangled there. Free kick for the Dutch. It was Matlo with the foul. She'll help up Berenstein. That'll be a free kick again for the Dutch. Again, towards midfield, so it should be indirect. It should be indirect. If it is direct, then kudos to whoever's taking this. And Dominique Janssen take a few. She had a direct shot from about 35 yards out, but albeit off target. Sherita Spitza, their long distance kicker, will take this as we're about 4 minutes. 4 minutes left, that is, in stoppage time. Spitza, the left arm up, lifts this high towards the back part of the box. Swart, offer line, will catch it. Automatically kicking this forward, trying to find Kagatlana on the counter. This could be dangerous. It's a 1-on-2. More players coming. Kagatlana lays it off. Maybe a chance there. Ball play back towards Kagatlana now. Inside the box. Numbers coming. Kagatlana shot. Saved by Van Domselaar. Skipping forward again. Rebound shot from distance. And that's a great gloving save. And it was Wendy Shongwei there with the rebound. Yeah, let's take a look at this counter. And automatically, I think everybody in the stadium knew what South Africa was going to do. They saw this. This is how they countered against Italy to win it. Kagatlana laying it off. And again, I believe it was Motohalo. Again, another left-footed shot there, but I think more surprising was the rebounded shot from about 20 yards out by Shongwei. Gamede picks her head up. Send it forward, headed away there by Janssen. Van de Donk out on the left for Brooks. Janssen. Van de Gracht. Now with Spitza on the right. So those two will continue to play their private game. Now they'll get their fellow center back Janssen involved. Brooks right at midfield, actually. Tipped forward, knocked down there. Good knockdown, too. I believe that was actually the new player in Makubela. Again, if you're just tuning in, South Africa's already had to make 2 substitutions due to injury. Jermaine Seo Postenwe off for Wendy Shongwei and Bambanani Mabane out and Tisetso Makubela coming in. I believe this is Makubela's first appearance at this Women's World Cup, and I might be right about Shongwei as well. Don't quote me. Mamede on the right. Ramalepe. High ball sent in, a little too high for Kagatlana. Again, the striker has played increasingly well, extremely well in that regards. Just unable to turn a shot in. That's been the biggest problem today for South Africa. Meanwhile, foul will be called in favor. Ramalepe fouled in the back there. Be holding her lower back area. And again, another stoppage in play. We've seen a lot of this in this first half. This time it was Van de Donk going through. She'll be called for the foul, and I believe she might have also picked up a knock in the process, although she is up and okay. But, oh boy. Not been a good day to be a defender really playing back there for South Africa. Already not even halftime, and as I mentioned, 2 substitutions already. Six minutes through stoppage time. I'd probably guess about 1 or 2 more. It will be Ramalepe to take. Clip forward, cleared back by Janssen. Back with Van de Donk. We'll try to get on some sort of counter. Back towards Makubela. Matlu for South Africa. Matlu with the long ball sent. Chested down there. Easy one by Spitza. Back with Spitza and crew on the right. Played back in. Janssen just has to boot that forward to avoid any chance of a South Africa counter. With that sent right back forward. Swart looking towards Kagatlana. Almost got there. Janssen intervened. Finds Kagatlana at the edge of the box. Left off there towards Shongwei. Shongwei is still fighting for it, and it's cleared away by Spitza. It's going forward, and with that, the first half is in the books. Netherlands up 1-0 on South Africa. Jill Roord with the goal off the corner kick. Lika Martins with the initial header, and then the clear by Ramalepe was not too far, and Jill Roord, who was right in front of goal, knew what to do. That's your only score of the first half. Let's see if there's more in the second. I'll take a quick break, and I'll be back for that next 45 minutes right here on YouTube and Instagram. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Sydney Football Stadium, where we are set for the second half between South Africa and the Netherlands. The Dutch up 1-0 on a Banyana Banyana. We're back underway. South Africa now going from left to right. Netherlands going from right to left. I'm Mihir Sinhasan, and thanks for tuning in on this, what is now a Saturday night here in Phoenix, about 8 p.m. Had some great goals earlier on. Really only one from Jill Ruard, who got her fourth of the game. That's pretty much it. Let me get the things up here on Instagram as well. Doing a multicast there, doing it right here on YouTube, doing it as well on Instagram, MJ Sinhasan. You're going to be seeing the same thing, and that's my face. Unless you want to see something else, it's all right. It's not too bad. Foul called, be in favor of the Dutch. First half, possession-wise, was all in favor of the Netherlands, as they were able to get it 1-0, and more importantly, they kept possession at around 75% or so, as this long ball sent towards Berenstein is a little too far for the striker, the Juventus striker, I should say, collected by Swart. Nonetheless, we have had 8 shots, 5 of them on target, that have come from South Africa, a lot of them coming from their striker, Thembi Kagatlana. Trying to see where my pencil is. Where are you, buddy? Where are you? It's somewhere here. We got the pen. Everything's good for now. Jensen on the left. Jackie Grunen playing through up towards Lika Martens. Flicked out to the left-hand side. Can Brooks get there? No. Throwing. Esme Brooks out. It looks like Bambanane Mambane got some treatment, and now she is wearing a walking boot and some crutches as she's now on the sideline. She was one of the 2 players for South Africa that went out with an injury. So already Banyana Banyana has only got 3 substitutions going into the second half. Pelova, now it's Spitzer. Back towards the back line it goes. Spitzer indeed. Back with Grunen in the midfield. Now towards Stephanie van der Gracht in the back. And this might be the best thing for Netherlands is if South Africa can keep up the type of pacing they did, it could really turn into an interesting match. Meanwhile, Pelova's got space on the right-hand side. Collects there into the box. Cut away there by Karabo Dlamini. Corner kick for the Dutch. Excuse me. Nonetheless, we've had a lot of great chances in this one. It's about the 49th minute. Not too many chances in the second half. This is probably your first, if you can count it as such. Spitzer, nonetheless, to take here on the right-hand side. Spitzer now. Linear cross in. Martins with a flick. Another header by Berenstein, and that's going to go over for a goal kick. So, again, a pretty good operation there, but couldn't lead it into anything big. Back there. Goal kick for Swart. All the way forward, back towards midfield. And just like that, back with the Dutch. Pelova tried getting out. That's cut away there. Shongwei goes down. Free kick. Looks like she'll need some treatment. It's actually Linda Motulhalo taken down. 50th minute now. Again, you have to give credit to Wendy Shongwei, only making her second appearance for South Africa, but has got some good chances. Had a shot from distance that had to be saved by Van Domselaar. As this one's headed away. Long ball sent forward, and Legrach to punch it away. Back towards the left back, Dlamini. Tested down again by Pelova. And the story of the day is South Africa at times has played very linear on the ball, and maybe when you get someone close towards Thembi Kagatlana, that could lead to chances. Gamede called for the foul. And 50 minutes through, it's a free kick for the Dutch. Let's take a look at this. Yes, Pelova, who started to get more attention on the right hand side. Long ball sent towards Martins, goes out in the end line. Goal kick. Andries Jonker has to be pleased what he's seen from his players right now. In a lot of chances, a lot of stretches going forward. More importantly, there's a sense of command. Even though South Africa, I mean, don't get me wrong, every time South Africa has gotten the ball in what seems like an even position, it almost feels like they're trying to go for a counterattack. They've looked very fierce in that category today. Just been unable to turn in a goal. And some of it is just good goalkeeping by Van Domselaar. Jansen playing it back towards Van Domselaar, just as I call her name. Sent back towards the midfield. Martins with not the best touch. Cut out there. And Magaya lost it. And Magaya, one of the key players, scored in that match against Italy. I'm playing the holding midfielder role. Hidla Magaya. Out on the right. Spitze again, captain for Netherlands, out towards Jansen. Again, that whole back line, Spitze, Jansen, and Van der Gracht, all start on the 2019 side. Now, nifty moves there. Martins tried to leave it for Berenstein, clipped away. Back in Netherlands territory, Grunen trying to fight it out with Brooks on the left. Still able to keep the ball as it tries to trail behind her at least. Grunen, Van de Donk, Spitze again. Looks for options, scooping it forward, looking towards Berenstein, and that's cleared away out on the end line. And rather than the touch line, not the best clearance there by Matlu, as it's another corner kick for the Dutch. Keep in mind they got their first one from the corner flag as well, and it will also come from the right side of the pitch. Not the best move there as Desiree Ellis, South African head coach, looks on from the bench. And Spitze will be the one to take the long walk over to the right-hand side. Van der Gracht, Martins. You also got Berenstein, who missed the last two group stage matches with an ankle injury. Spitze sends us into the box, caught there by Swart. Swart automatically sends the boot forward, trying to find Kagatlana, and great track back there by Van de Donk. Collected again. Motalo, Shongwei. Lamini, Gamede, and South Africa will need to go back to the midfield. Bit forward nonetheless. Down again. This be trouble. No, it won't. Jansen clears it away. Nonetheless, the pressure continues there. Motalo, Shongwei. Lost it there from Van de Donk, who intervened. Pelova, Berenstein. Chopped up, back with Van de Donk. She'll boot it forward, looking towards Berenstein on the right-hand side. Able to get there. Long play back. Berenstein hurtling inside the box now. Leaves it off towards Pelova. She's circling through. Pelova in towards Martins off the turn, and it's in the net. Goal for Netherlands. And it's Lika Martins, one of the stalwarts who's been showing up since 2015 or so in her third Women's World Cup appearance. She makes it 2-0 right here in the 54th minute. All eyes and all momentum now in favor of the Dutch. Now the question is, was she offside? I think Ramalepe, it was Ramalepe again. She had the missed clearance that led to the first goal, and this time she was farther back than the rest of her teammates. And that was the one that led to the second goal. So just tiny mistakes there by Ramalepe. And again, Martins with a great touch, getting it off the turn, left-footed, right in the middle. And able to make Swart in the process. VAR is now checking to see if the goal will count. I believe Yoshida Yamashita should say it will be okay. From our angle, it looked like Martins was just onside. VAR review. Offside. No goal. No goal for Lika Martins. So hold that thought, folks. Momentum could still be in South Africa's favor. Andres Jonker still out of his seat. Again, not too much frustration on his face. And again, if your team has 75% of possession, you still have plenty of opportunities to get it. So instead, it will be a free kick for Swart and South Africa. High ball sent it forward. Brought down by Dlamini. Pipped out. Can't be kept in play by Kagatlana. And as I mentioned, Kagatlana, one of the star players on this squad. 4 goals for the side. Their 72nd cap, but playing in the number 9 spot today. So it's interesting. It's an interesting stat line for a number 9, but it looks like that might be a role that she started to play a little bit more as this Women's World Cup has gone on. Just to mention, 2 of her goals have been in this Women's World Cup. One against Argentina, and then, as I mentioned before, the winner against Italy. Anna Donk still running with the ball. Goes down. Free kick. Spitzer, rather. South Africa with 2 victories in the last 6 games. One was a draw, or rather, one was a loss, and 3 were draws. So again, a pretty decent match for South Africa. And again, a team that's starting to become a staple in Africa won the African Cup of Nations, actually defeated Morocco. So no Nigeria, no Cameroon has also made some constant appearances at the world stage, both in the men's and women's. Of course, their men's team played at the World Cup last year in Qatar. Knocked out, throw in. This time it was Gamede to let loose there. 58th minute, and again, for the Dutch, it's basically about seeing this one out at this point. Ball hurtling around. Pelova getting him to turn out towards Brooks on the left. She also backtrack a little bit. Nonetheless, sent in. Martins with a header. Actually, it was Van de Donk with a header. Martins with a chance. Nifty move there. Maybe a chance. Nope. Shongwei can't get to it before Brooks can. Maybe another chance here for Netherlands going forward. Oh, some nifty moves by Pelova. She tried finding Brooks on the through, but it was cut out there. Yeah, I have to credit the center back Makubela. Grunen. Now it's Spitza. It's been that kind of day so far. You had the goal, but most of the attacking, at least the most fiery chances, have actually come from South Africa. Went into half with more shots on goal than the Dutch, and they were tied in shots. They started to get more chances as this one's gone along. Question becomes, as we have about 32 plus stoppage time left, is can they tie it up? So back to the back line. Janssen. Now it's Spitza. Spitza out on the wing again. Belova. Gilrood. Now it's Spitza again. Spitza looks for options, looks for Grunen in the middle. Janssen again. Played with Martins, back with Grunen. Netherlands has remained direct at some points in the match, but for the most part, they've had to function on the wings. That's another best ball there by Grunen. Luckily, Spitz was able to step in before Motohalo could do anything. Van Domselaar pipped out towards Janssen on the left. But nonetheless, the Dutch back in their defensive third, and now it will be sent forward towards Lika Martins. Martins towards Brooks. And Janssen again. Lofted out towards Spitza. Well, it's a good ball, too. Good switch of play. Again, that's the center back in me talking, but nonetheless, we go forward. Spitza at midfield. Grunen. Laid off. Back with Janssen. Janssen now going forward. Ball still in South Africa's half. Almost everybody in that category. except for Van de Gracht, who's towards midfield. Janssen out on the left. Here's Brooks. Some space going forward. Brooks cuts inside for a while. Now it's with Janssen. Martens back with Janssen. Good 1-2 there. Can Van de Donk do it with Janssen? No. She'll lay it off towards Brooks. Back towards Brooks, that is. Passing continues for Netherlands. Round the round, the ball goes. Van de Gracht. Now another chance. Out on the wing, Ruud. Now fully out with Pelova. Pelova rattling through, out with Berenstein on the right. Berenstein double team, trying to break through the double team. Still dancing on the ball. On the right-hand side. Oh, I tried to play it towards Pelova in the middle, but it goes right towards Swart. And that's how it is right now. 62nd minute, Netherlands up 1-0 on South Africa. I'm Mihir Sinhasan. Thanks for tuning in on what is a Saturday night here in Phoenix, a Sunday afternoon in Sydney, where this one's being taken place. Sixth all-time meeting between Netherlands and South Africa. All of them resulting in wins for the Dutch, outscoring South Africa 2-5, and three of the 5 matches, that is, decided by 2 or more goals. In that regards, too, this is the third UEFA CAF knockout game we have. That is Europe versus Africa. Had 2 in the last edition. England with a win over Cameroon, Germany with a win over Nigeria. Both of them decided by the scoreline of 3-0. Van de Donk goes down, free kick given. From Martens. You got Martens and Van de Donk. Van de Donk playing in midfield. Martens has been checking back, though, a lot today, despite being forward. So it seems like we know who's playing where. Martin's almost playing false 9 to some extent. Speaking of which, here she is on the left. Going to go forward. Brooks. Janssen. Grunen. Double teamed. Flipped out towards Janssen again. Brooks. Back with Janssen. Possession continues. At this point, you have someone like Dominique Janssen essentially playing like a left back at this point. And you have Van der Gracht and Spitzer back as true center backs. Just trying to control the pace, trying to control possession, more importantly, in attacking territory. Good forward there, Makubela. Brooks. Cut up, back with Grunen. Grunen now with Spitzer. Some room to grow. Just decides to pass it off towards Pelova. In the story of the day, Pelova tried going 1-2 with Berenstein. Cleared up there. Not the best by Dlamini. Back with the Dutch we go. Here's Ruud. Back with Spitzer. Pelova on the right. Passed forward towards Berenstein. Berenstein trying to cut back. Dancing. Back with Pelova. Pelova lost the ball there. It's right back with South Africa. Booted forward and booted back by Spitzer. And booted forward once again. Maybe a chance here for Kagatlana, who's got some space on the left-hand side. She's at the edge of the box. It's a 1-on-3. She goes forward, and Spitzer coming back to just make a timely challenge right before she could get a stop-off. Van de Donk cleared it out of the box. Back with Lika Martens. Martens lays it off. Ruud. But automatically, you can show how momentum can swing. I mean, that was a long ball. You usually don't see something like that unless it's maybe at a high school or even like recreational soccer level. But not with South Africa. They knew where Kagatlana was at the right moment, and automatically she had a chance to go the other way. But it's tough to play when you're 1 against 3. That's the case for anybody, really. Even the greats like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo struggle with it. Spitzer. Lofted forward, too high for Martens. Collected there by the right back, Ramalepe. Collected off again. Ramalepe had a poor clearance that led to the first goal. She almost let Lika Martens off onside, which would have resulted in the second, but Yamashita, our referee, decided to go in favor of South Africa on that call. Here's Van de Donk now, edge of the box. Scoop forward, too high for Pilova, headed away there by Dlamini, throw in for the Dutch, deep in the attacking third on the right-hand side. You got Dlamini in the left back position, Matlu playing your left center back, making her 169th cap today for the South Africans. Right now it's La Orange up on Banyana. Badenstein pipped it away down the side and cleared away. Not too far. It's back with Grunen. She'll have to circle around and play back towards the center there for Van der Gracht. At midfield, once again, with Spitze. Van der Gracht again. High boot forward. Headed out. Not the best touch there. Makubela couldn't get the best touch, and now she was caught up in a trance. Martin's call for the foul. Free kick. Gilroyd, as it stands, has the game winner that sends Netherlands to what will be an interesting match against Spain. Two European heavyweights, two teams in their respective regards that went out in the quarterfinals of the Euros 2022. Back with Swart, who will take the goal kick here once we get a chance, and now she will. Wave keeps on going, and the flow of this one has been interesting at points. Meanwhile, here's Berenstein. Again, had a chance to counter. Here's Van de Donk scooping through, and she'll draw the foul there. First yellow card of the day there for Danielle Van de Donk, going through Karubo Dlamini. So Van de Donk's got to be careful. Again, she's had some crazy challenges. Pretty simple against Portugal, and the United States had a interesting exchange with Lindsay Horan, her teammate at Lyon, and right after that feisty exchange, Horan ended up scoring the equalizer in that one. Back again with South Africa, ball played right towards Pilova, who will scoop it forward. Speaking of the United States, they got another one against Sweden. Meanwhile, Berenstein will get on the ball. The shot, it goes right through Swart, and it's in. A goal for Netherlands, and an untimely, horrible error for Kalen Swart. Berenstein found some open space, and Swart, who was about 10-15 yards out of her line, decided to just, honestly, she could have gotten a chance to just catch it, but instead decided to play it right through. It goes right through her hands, and the Dutch find themselves fully in command now. And let's take a look at this. Yeah, Swart tried catching it and just couldn't. It actually deflected off of her. So it was not like she whiffed on the catch, if that's even possible in soccer. It was deflected away. It's almost like she was leaning her body in to make the catch and didn't lean it enough. Lika Martin's credited with the assist there. And Berenstein with the first time shot. And again, Lynette Berenstein, welcome back to the squad. After 2 games out, we have Katja Snoijes starting in her place. But nonetheless, late in this one, 68th minute, the Dutch fully in control now. Let's see if I can find the exact minute. I believe it might have been the 68th. Yes, indeed. So 68th minute, Lynette Berenstein making it 2-0, and now South Africa is on a prayer. Out on the wing, what can they do here? Kagatlana cut off the ball. Last touched by her, as Spitzer was the one to do the cutting. Goal kick. Back with the Dutch. 20 minutes plus stoppage time left, and barring anything crazy from South Africa, this game is possibly over. Dutch up 2-0 on South Africa. They could make it 3. Berenstein in some space. Martins trying to hurdle forward. Ramalepe able to cut out. That's cleared forward there. 70th minute. Yeah, a lot of chances. A lot of forward chances, too. Pelova dancing in the area. Oh, she's able to get away into some open space, into the box now. On the end line, she'll cut back again. Laid off towards Ruhr. Deflected, and it just goes wide. That would have been her fifth of the tournament, the second of the day. That might have, well, let's see. Deflected off there. The question is, for someone, it was Gamede who deflected off of. Might have been a handball. It was deflected off her right hand, which was in an unusual position, but I don't think there was anything super egregious for Yoshida Yamashita to check. Spitze to take from the left-hand side. Yoshimi Yamashita has done a good job today in terms of refereeing. Been a pretty clean game in general, too. Not too many scrappy games compared to what we saw in 2019. Spitze from the left corner flag lifts it in. Near post headers, no good by Martins as it's cleared away. Up in the air as Kagatlana try to get something going. Now Kagatlana in some space. A little too far of a ball as Jensen will just pop it out on the end line, or rather the touch line. Throw in, easily taken. Kagatlana. Here she is again. Into the middle. Biana. Biana scoop forward. Looks for some options. Shongwei with the header up out towards Kagatlana on the left. Into some space. Kagatlana, what can she do? Cut away by Roord. Roord trying to get something on the counter. That's cut away by Kagmatlu. Nokomatlu. Inside the box now. Shongwei into some space. Her shot is blocked by Grunen. Headed away by Van de Donk. It's outside the area. Back again. Kagatlana out on the wing. Nice ball in. A shot, a chance. Off the turn. Motohalo saved again by Van Domselaar. Save for the goal. She's been the woman of the match so far. Great chance there for Linda Motohalo to try to get something. I mean, she was about 18 yards out, but the ball just fell right towards her. And if it's not for Van Domselaar's save away, that right there, it's a 2-1 ball game. So hold on to your horses. I mean, that's the thing. That's how today's matches work. When South Africa has gotten their chances, they've made the most of them. So corner kick on the right. And another swing. Left-footed. In-swinger into the box. Popped up there by Brooks. Reset back in by Kagatlana. Wide right. Goal kick. Easy dump off there for Van Domselaar. Going back towards Jensen. 74th minute. Dutch up 2-0 on South Africa. 2 goals in this one. First was from Jill Roord in the 9th minute, and the second one was from Nanette Berenstein, who essentially just played the ball, and Kaylin Swart, who attempted to try to get the ball, essentially could not catch it and went towards goal. Speaking of Berenstein, here she is on the left-hand side, towards the edge of the box, towards Brooks. Brooks, right-footed cross in, a good chance there. Pelova goes down, Martins with a shot, and this time Swart makes the catch. That was a common line for this one, like between negative 2.5 plus 2.5. A lot of people expecting the South Africans to win it, most likely on a score, or rather to lose by 2. Nonetheless, Pelova plays it through for Van de Donk. Oh, it's a great ball in. Berenstein tried to get there. South Africa's defense was just meddled over there in the middle. That Van de Donk was essentially just found some open space. I was surprised she took the layoff there towards Berenstein. I would have shot that if I was in her spot. Now 1-2, trying to find Motohalo. Lost back there by Brooks. Spitze in the back line's got it. But again, 15 minutes plus stoppage time left, and it's all Dutch right now. Right now, the colonizers capitalizing on the colonized, although that was a few decades ago, but still, principle remains. Interestingly enough, I talked about the colonizers versus colonized matchups. You got England, Nigeria, and France, Morocco. We'll see a change here for the Dutch. Their first change of the day, Danielle Van de Donk coming off. Actually, It will just be that. Van Donk with the most forced errors in this one today. And checking in, couldn't tell, but might be Egarola. Yes, indeed. So it will be Damaris Egarola, who came in a few matches. She's been a stalwart coming off the bench in this Women's World Cup. Egarola with her first touch. Martins, not the best touch, as it's back towards Egarola. She'll essentially be playing the same position Vanadonk played, although she'll be playing more on the left-handed side. Well, that's kind of what we've been seeing, although Vanadonk, listed on as a left center mid, has been playing more on the right. Jill Royd has been playing right center mid this entire time. It seems like it. Though she hasn't gotten too many touches to my knowledge. Pelova played through. Here's Vanadonk on the right. Vanadonk pressured there. Circle back. Grunen into some space. Not with Jansen again. Jansen. Egarola. Martins. Brooks. Again, a lot of ball movement from the Dutch. That's been a common factor, and I think in every match except the United States, which again is a possession-based team unto themselves. It has been like that today. Attendance over 40,000 inside Sydney Football Stadium. Again, hosting its final match of the Women's World Cup. Brooks with a touch around the right back for South Africa. That is Ramalepe. Cleared away. And on the end line, goal kick. Damaris Egarola again checking in for Danielle Vanderdonk. Change between the two Lyon teammates. Although Vanderdonk has had much more experience and much more age-wise. While Vanderdonk 31, Egarola 23. Vanderdonk with making her 144th appearance for the country today. Egarola with her 20th. Big 2-0. But I'll be celebrating next year. But in terms of my age, not in terms of appearances. Ramalepe. Macobela. Out towards Magaya on the right. Magaya, left-footed, a little too far for Kagatlana. Scooped up there by Van Domselaar. 12 minutes, 12 and a half minutes, that is. Out on the right-hand side. Again, great play so far by the Dutch. They've stretched out the opponents. They found some space when it's mattered. I think more importantly, too, they found the space to extract from South Africa, right? Joe Roard's able to find the holes, and more importantly, to tap it in. Even with Berenstein, too, she doesn't get it because she's in the clear. Meanwhile, here's Pelova now on the right-hand side, played in, trying to find Berenstein. That's knocked away. Clear, not the best clearance. Agarola gets it, and not the best touch by Roard, as that's cleared out there by Matlu. The Dutch continue their attack. They're looking for goal number 3. And in these, as I mentioned too, this Europe-Africa knockout stage, the two I mentioned earlier, you had England, Cameroon, Germany, Nigeria. Those are the only matchups we've seen. And yes, there have been many more African teams that have made the knockouts. I mean, even going back to Nigeria back in 1999, but their quarterfinal matchup that year was against Brazil. It was actually a close game. Brazil ended up winning 4-3. Meanwhile, South Africa tried getting something on the counter as Magaya can't find Biana. Brooks, pip forward, trying to find Berenstein. She's onside for now. Berenstein in the clear. Berenstein makes it 3. And the offside flag will go up. And I think it feels like everybody stopped play there. Again, I give credit to her. You're supposed to play until the whistle blows. But from that angle, it looks like a good chunk of her body was offside over there. And again, I think Andres Junker is like lose me with all these offside calls. Lika Martins would have gotten a goal earlier in this one. So if that was called onside, which in my opinion, I think that was onside, it would be 3-0. South Africa down 2-0, about 10 minutes left to go in the second half. I think the more important case is that they need to get goals. And this is a team that's now used to holding possession to get said goals. Ramalepe's cross, by the way, is off of Van de Gracht, corner kick. So maybe again, you think about it, you're at a point where you can get one chance, just only one chance, and it can change the momentum. Kagatlan on the end line, last touched by Grunen, and they'll do take two from the right hand side. This time it will be Magaya to swing it in with the left. Last time it was just a quick corner taken by Kagatlana. This one swung into the box close to the area, and that's headed up there by Jansen. Only as far as Kagatlana, or rather Magaya. She lost the ball. Tracking back was Grunen. Slides to the ground, and she'll be fouled. Free kick. Frustrating day for Kagatlana. She had a plentiful amount of shots there. This is Bernstein being called offside again. Most of her body was offside on the chance. Already got one goal today that right now sits as the insurance. That is such a good chance to get three there. What a relief it is. I mean, you think about it, like the way Badenstein plays in the ball, much more lower to the ground, much lower center of gravity. It's much different than the way Katja Snoiges plays. Snoiges started the matches against the United States and Vietnam. Here comes Badenstein again. The way she can hurdle on the ball too, that Lika Martins doesn't have to do too much or have to play a little higher. Although Snoiges has also done a great job playing towards that number 9 position. Badenstein taken down. Free kick for the Dutch. And it looks like Martins will take it here. Again. Lynette Badenstein, one of the stalwarts again, one of the Juve players, one of the squads in 2019. I believe she was not on the squad. I mean, she got a big start because Shanice Van de Sanden was out with injury, or she was just basically on the bench. And again, Van de Sanden, a great player unto herself. Meanwhile, Spitzer sending this into the box, headed away, only as far as Brooks. And that's cut away there by Kagatlana. Ball played through, and actually it was Kagatlana trying to get on the end of that. She's essentially playing as some hope to try to get a counter at this point. Belova, circling around. Spitzer again, dribbling around. Decides to loft it forward, trying to find Berenstein. Berenstein now going in space. Swart will stay back. Berenstein will have to cut there. Leaves it off. Here's a shot by Ruord. Deflected. Out with a corner. Actually, no, it will be a goal kick. Yeah, there's a good chance there. Berenstein essentially playing forward in ways, almost as a number 9. What you love to see out of a Dutch side that's trying to become the 4th team to make it to the Women's World Cup final in 2 consecutive years. Norway did it in 1991 and 1995. Germany did it in 2003 and 2007. The United States have done so in the past 3 Women's World Cup, 2011, 2015, and 2019. Norway and the United States both fall in the category in the sense that they were a team that lost the final in their first time there, at least in this period that I'm talking about. Norway lost to the United States in the Women's World Cup final in 1991. US lost to Japan in the Women's World Cup final in 2011. But Norway got the trophy in 1995. US got the trophy in 2015. The Dutch, despite losing to the United States in 2019, trying to pull it off and be winners in 2023. Got an interesting slate. You got Spain. You got Spain in the quarterfinals. The winner of that plays either Japan, Sweden, or the United States. So you're basically at a point where every match can go either way. Ball played through out towards Jansen on the left wing that is, swung in, chested down by Matlu. Cleared away only as far as Brooks now. Not the best clearances by South Africa, I'll tell you that. Now Chance, clip 4, trying to find Kagatlana, spiking clearance there. Here comes a runner again. Egorola, Berenstein tried giving it back. That was no go. Collected there by Biyama. Out on the wing now. Flamini, right back towards the Dutch. Collision, free kick. I believe it might be a yellow card for Biyana. She went through Berenstein, lifted the legs up. So sometimes when the challenge can be quick like that, quick and powerful in that regards, you could see some changes. We only had one yellow card in this game. It was to Danielle Van de Donk in the second half. 5 minutes plus stoppage time left. Dutch up 2-0. And we trying to add a cherry on top here. More importantly, trying to keep possession away from a fervent South African side that is known for their counterattacks. Spitzo with the indirect free kick from 45 out. Headed down. Another pip going forward. Another chance to counter here for Kagatlana on the right. Kagatlana looks up, flips the play out towards Motohalo. Gamede in the area. Motohalo looks for options, lays it off towards Shongwei. Wendy Shongwei. Again, just when you think South Africa can get something going, Netherlands brings numbers back. They have a good work when it comes to recovery. Meanwhile, Gamede is still fighting, just cleared away there by Grunen. Now it again. Ramalepe. Malepe still running with the ball. Finding Shongwei again. Out on the left again. Motohalo. Motohalo into the middle, trying to find Biana. Didn't work. Shongwei still fighting for the ball as Broad clears it forward. Can't find Bernstein. And that one will be out on the end line, touchline. Touchline, end line. It's a touchline. It's the one long piece on the field. Throwing. So 3.5 minutes. And again, we haven't had too many stops in this second half compared to the first. We had a few. Of course, South Africa had a couple changes to make as Jermaine Seoposenwe and Bambanani Mbane went down with injuries. So you had some time that was taken off and more added time added on with those two injuries for two of the players to get treatment and then carrying it off, making the substitutions, the whole 9 yards. Since then, South Africa has yet to make a change. And even the Dutch, too. Only making one, Van de Donk off and Egarola on. And again, too, Van de Donk was on a yellow, so it was a smart move there by Andries Jonker. Martens into the box. Bernstein can't get a touch this time. Sliding to get a peg. Can't work. Doesn't work. Again, a good look with the ball there with Martens. And you have to respect the effort there with Bernstein. 88th minute. Goal kick again for South Africa. Dutch with the pressure. Swart boots it forward. Headed down again by Jansen. Throwing for the South Africans. Dominique Jansen trying to cheer her teammates on. We're going to have a few changes here as Brooks will head off. And the same will go for Pelova. So the wings will be replaced for the Dutch. And it will be Wilms and Kasperich to check in. Is there not a utensil that works around here? So as I said, Wilms and Kasperich. Remember that, folks. Wilms and Kasperich checking in. Well, we might have to make a late night Walmart run for all you know. I don't know if Walmart's going to be open. Well, it might be. It's 9 o'clock. Maybe Walmart's open. Let's see. I'm running low on writing utensils at work. I had a pencil. I don't know where the pencil went. The pencil disappeared. Should have been Houdini's assistant. Meanwhile, got some cramps setting in here late. 89th minute, about a minute left before stoppage time. Ramalepe with the throw. Spinning around. Kagatlana. Taken off there. Martin's called for the foul. Or rather, it was actually it was Kasperich, I think. And you can help me out here, but Vilm's playing there. Meanwhile, long ball sent the other way. Bernstein looking for a second, but Swart able to collect. Crazy to think that every time you think about Bernstein getting a touch on the ball, it's actually the first time. Looked like the hardest. It was taken first time, and somehow Swart was unable to collect it there. Second time we've seen a big goalkeeper mistake. The other one was from South Korea's goalkeeper against Colombia, at least here at Sydney Football Stadium. That one ended out in another 2-0 victory towards Las Cafeteras. They start off their knockout stage campaign against another Cinderella, Jamaica. Swart to boot this forward, headed down by Kasperage. Out on the left, not the best first touch, but nonetheless out towards that Damini. Oh, it's a good move there. South Africa with a chance to go forward. Magaya on the left. Just going to fall through. Out of the shot. A long shot. Edge of the box. And Biana hooks it wide right. 4 minutes of stoppage time. So not as much as the first half as I predicted. 3.5 left in stoppage time. And looks like Andries Jonker will head to the bench to make a couple more substitutions. Give some playing time, at least, to a lot of these players. Katja Snorgis checking in. She'll be making another appearance. And then Gilles Bijings ready to check in as well. So it looks like both of these will be for the attackers. Snorgis started in Berenstein's place for the past couple of matches. Van der Gracht on the ring with Kasperage. Rather, it might be Wilms. We'll see. It's actually Wilms. So here's Wilms. Martins. Martins now hurtling around out to Kasperage on the left. Kasperage crossed in. Berenstein, rough first touch as it's cleared away. Only as far as running, I believe that's Egarola, maybe. No, that was, yes, Egarola. She came in for Danielle Van de Donk, and I appear there's going to be some changes from both sides. So coming on will be Melina Kagatiete and Noxolo Cesane. So again, it's always good when these players, especially for South Africa, your last moments there, you get to bring on some big players. So Cesane will also check in. And then for the Dutch, I don't know when we're going to see Snorgis and crew head on. Again, that was the substitution Andries Jonker was attempting to do. Now I think they will give some time for the Dutch to make their substitution. And here we go. So Katja Snorgis heading on, and Jill Bijings doing the same thing. In their place, it will be Lika Martins and Jill Roord heading off. Again, two players who have been stalwarts for this team for years now. Martins, of course, not the captain of this team, but definitely has captain-like qualities. Snorgis will join Berenstein in the front, and then we'll see Bijings in the midfield. Kasperage with the throw-in out towards Snorgis. Actually, it was Bijings over there. Berenstein. Touches continue. Netherlands looks to see it out. Again, never gone back-to-back. Again, after the Olympics. Went down in the quarterfinals to the United States on penalties. Kasperage in the corner. Booting it forward. Pipping it forward. Now it's a good pip by Egarola. Trying to find Bijings. Knocked away. Ooh, nifty touch there by Biana. Before is Jackie Grunen taking it down. Possession still with the Dutch, and when I say that, it's back with South Africa because Gatlana going forward. Maybe a chance here for South Africa to get maybe a cherry on top. Gatlana's shot deflected off of Van der Gracht, and Van Domselaar able to dive last second to save it out. Very close to South Africa getting a goal. One of the few teams that have gotten a goal in every match in this Women's World Cup. And one of the few teams as well being the Dutch as well. Dutch, Swedish, not the United States. They were scoreless, had a scoreless draw against Portugal. So a corner kick again. Right-footed, dribbling through, cleared away. Back out there. And Biana trying to argue there was a handball, and indeed there was. Jackie Grunen, the culprit there. So again, maybe a chance for South Africa to get a cherry on top. We're in the winding moments. It would probably be the final kick of this one. Not that it really matters. Dutch are on their way to the quarterfinals, looking to repeat and hopefully right the one wrong that was there in last Women's World Cup, which was a loss to the United States. They're playing later today, at least on Australia time, as they'll be facing Sweden. Ramalepe, the cross in, headed away. Matlo gives chase, shoved down, doesn't matter, free kick or rather throw in for the Dutch. 5:23. And there's the final whistle from Sydney Football Stadium. The Dutch are on to the quarterfinals, beating South Africa 2-0. Goals in the first and second half. First by Jill Royd in the ninth, and then Lynette Berenstein in the 68th. And Banyana's Cinderella run at the 2023 WWC comes to an end, but nonetheless, a great performance by them. They had a lot of shots, 12 of them, 6 of them on target to match the Netherlands, as the 2019 runner ups look to try to get back to that stage as they were in 2019. So we have our first round of eight, that is quarterfinal matchup decided. It's Spain against the Netherlands. And that one, too, will be at a pretty decent time, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. For now, I'm going to take a little break, but be back at 2 a.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, or 5 a.m. Eastern, for what should be the round of 16 match of the tournament. Sweden against the United States, number 3 against number 1. I'm Mihir Sinhasan. So long. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. But if not, stay safe.